Hey, how you doing? Normally, I restrict these videos to comics, but instead of trying to, type a whole thing and then put links to it um, on Facebook and Twitter, going ahead and do this quick video. This is a review of the films, shorts that was shown at the most recent Horrible Imagining Campfire Tales. It's a quarterly event that Miguel of Horrible Imaginings puts on at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana. These are short films, not necessarily all horror, that were submitted to HI and for one reason or other were unable to be put into the festival itself, which generally works along themes. And this being, around the time of Valentine's Day, it had like a theme of love in one form or another. So it was pretty cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and quickly go through each one. We got Frostbite. A young woman lures a mysterious figure across the frozen wasteland for reasons unexplained, directed by Andrew Hunt. This is really, it's a zombie tale. And who doesn't love zombie tales? And this is a zombie tale with a slightly different take. A young woman, exactly as the plot synopsis goes, is trying to attract a certain zombie to follow her for some unexplained reason. She does this, and by blowing a whistle, which attracts the zombie, and he follows her. She actually captures him at one point, tries to get him to eat hot dogs, which he doesn't seem willing or able to do. And finally, in the end, it's revealed the purpose behind it. Really sweet tale at the end, a few, little humorous bits, but overall nicely done. The second film was very short. It was called First Date. It's a really misogynistic guy picks up this woman and is texting his buddies how he's going to really, get into it with this girl and then he's going to dump her, which is what he normally does, and he's also getting text from some other girl that he's supposedly dating. And this date really doesn't go as he had planned. This is directed by Donna Adger, who was also one of the co-writers. And this is a lot of fun. It's very, very comical, and it's very short, and I highly recommend it. Then we have Forever. This is a really disturbing tale directed by Sergio Pinheiro and writer George Fordham about a woman dealing with the loss of her brother. We find out a little in non-dialogued portions. So the actors really have to present what's going on, physically through their actions and their facial expressions, and it appears that she's also being stalked by one of her brother's friends, and a really creepy way in suspense builds until the final revelation, and we learn about what actually happened when her brother was killed. Then we got Teddy Mate, which I think for me was one of the two highlights of the festival. This was written by Lydia Lane and directed by Ramo Villa. In a near future, children are able to go to a place and pick up a teddy bear. The teddy bear will change colors to reflect your mood, and it stays with you. And it turns out that at a certain point of your life, after years of interaction and affection, the teddy will turn into your true love. And what is true love? And who can tell, who you'll love and why? And so it has a really strong social message, and it's really nicely done. A beautiful story, uh, really well acted by both the children and the adults in this film. So yeah, check it out. Really good. Then we got Silverline Valentine as a short film about this was writer director Brandon McDuffie. A young girl meets a guy on a long distance bus ride, and you can tell there's like sort of a mutual affection going on, where they talk a little bit about their lives in the past, and where they're going and why they're going there, so which is kind of sweet. And then there's a dramatic turn at the end, which I won't give away, but wow, I think it blew everybody away. All right, then we have Flower, which was directed by Collie Lawson and writer Timothy Lawson. And this is about a zombie who comes upon a flower, and as she's looking at it, she starts to have memories of her past, and maybe it's actually changing her and bringing her back from the edge of the darkness in which she lives. And unfortunately, there's also a survivor who, one zombie is just like another, right? This is good, has a twist to ending, and has some funny bits and some sweet moments. It's really short, but impactful, and it has a nice ending. Really, kind of disturbing one was director Benjamin Welmond, Welmond. I don't know who the writer was on this. It doesn't put one down. Called Faulty Father. Man wakes up one morning. He and his wife laying together. They hear the baby crying. Sort of had to have a, banter about who should get up to take care of the baby, things like that. Finally, he gets up, gets the baby, starts going about some of his chores in the morning, but suddenly hears a noise down the hall, and things take a strange turn, and we find out that things aren't as they initially seemed. And hey, you're trying to be a good dad, and what happens, right? It was good. Another fairly short, but well done and certainly well acted. We got Cruel Perfection, which was a really disturbing piece written and directed by John Strussel. And I have to give credits to Jamie Klink, who was the main actress in this. She's an actress trying to get parts in films and commercials and things, and unfortunately, there's another actress who seems to be the it girl, or has the look that everyone's trying to imitate. And anyways, she hopes to do this with makeup and cosmetics and things like that. And things get really, there are moments of I would say Videodrome at one point, if you're familiar with that film. And this is really good, really disturbing, and so yeah, kudos to involved. Then we have Kill a Date, which is really dark humor about a serial killer who's trying to make a name for himself. He wants to be like the next Bundy and or Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy, and become famous for his kills. But he hasn't quite made it yet. So, anyways, he picks his next victim sort of a way at a bar, and he thinks things are going well. But it turns out, well, maybe he wasn't the one who was picking somebody up. Things get really twisted, really funny. It is very, very funny. This was directed by Colton Tran and with two writers, Joey Benny and Brandon Shipkovsky. And wow, it is really a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It's really cool, and you can see this turned into a feature film with the right actors. Then we have Water Horse, which was the film. This is writer-director Sarah Weisner and co-director Sean Temple. This was the film that I mentioned earlier. I think that the reaction of the audience may not have been what the filmmakers expected or hoped for. A family, mom, dad, and child, are on a lake shore. They find a boat that drifts up to shore, and things start to go odd. And yeah, that's all I can say without giving it away. But odd is indeed the term. And if you recently saw the film The Turning, the ending of that film, think about that. And finally, probably the second highlight of the film called Boo. This is written, directed, and actually stars Rakefit Abigel. I believe that name totally. She is absolutely wonderful. A young woman who is a recovering addict. She and two of her friends are discussing their addiction after their meeting, and she has a badge for multiple years, clean, and her friends are envious of that, and they're all trying to support each other. In a nice little scene. Then something happens, an event which is disturbing in itself, and unfortunately affects her addiction and what has happened, and it's interesting. She was there at the show and talked about how she'd actually sort of changed the ending that she originally wanted to. But I think it's brilliant. It really is good, and I highly recommend it. And again, I think it's another film that could probably stand being expanded upon. With the white people in it, and I think Abigail would be the person to do that. I really think she has a good future ahead of her in filmmaking. That is it for me. I went on way too long. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't know the next time I'll ever do this. I'll see what the reaction is. And peace out. Take care of yourself and have a good life.